You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Welcome back. We are back in the studio for Wise Up Season 2, Episode 4, 5, 6. Who knows? Back in the chairs, back in the saddle, here to talk to you about our experience at the Big White Barn in Decatur.
Yeah. Senator Ted Cruz came to town. It was kind of, it's like almost like, I've never been to like a Trump rally or any kind of like big kind of.
No, I've seen
political,
you at a few.
Any kind of big political event like that. But there's like some like legit excitement. I can see why some folks like to spend their time out there. Like we first arrived, the first impression was like this packed parking lot. Everybody was turning on, I think, County Road 4010.
Yeah.
And they had parking set up and they were like, we're getting shuttled in there.
And those there were like 5 shuttles, like busing people back and forth. And that was an all evening thing too. Shout out to those shuttle drivers. They're working hard.
Our main takeaway, the shuttle crew was very professional.
Yes. Courteous,
efficient.
Respected everyone.
A lot of kind of fussy. Maybe some people were fussy, like, oh, I don't want to wait in this line.
It was
they knocked it out quickly. It
was hot too, a little bit muggy.
Yeah. But it was an exciting, like, an event. We don't get Ted Cruz sightings very often in Wise County. So it's good to see our representatives take a stop by. He was there for a campaign event. He's kind of on the campaign trail. He's kind of locked in a race now, but he's also supporting Andy Hopper and some of the other candidates that are vying for their spot right now. So it's packed house, standing room only, like literally standing room only.
Yeah, I was hugging a wall and a trash can trying to stay out of the way. We also had appearances from Ted's dad.
Yeah, Raphael.
Pastor Cruz. Shelley Luther had a front row seat. She was up there. Brandon Gill. He was there as well. Had some big names, big hitters.
Heavy hitters. But yeah, we posted like some photos of that if you want to check them out. I'll probably play some video. There's some good like Ted Cruz sound bites.
Think what you will of him, but he knows how to get a room going. You know? He had me ready to run through a brick wall when he was yelling about the Bill Rights.
Oh man,
of his speech.
Yeah, he like kind of hit this crescendo of patriotism that just was making my little American heart flutter.
That's right.
No, that's gonna be an interesting race. That we're gonna Andy Hopper and Lynn Stuckier locked in a runoff right now. So that should be coming down May 28th.
May 28th is the runoff. Yep. It was also, I mean, I get like there's an obvious reason why it's an attraction for people, to see like a famous politician. Right. But it was also funny. The couple we were talking to beforehand were like, you excited to see Ted Cruz? And he was like, I don't really care. I just want to hear what he has to say.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of cool. He's like, I don't care. I hope he says something good tonight.
Well, that guy, I think he said he doesn't read it, like get online, watch TV, has no media influence. So this might be his only way of learning what Ted Cruz is about. Like, I don't think he's on Ted Cruz's podcast.
No. That was another funny thing. Ted Cruz has a podcast. He's a competitor of ours.
Yeah, he's in our space.
Yeah, encroaching on us. So it's like the verdict or something like that. There's a point in the rally where Cruz was like, all right, if you just text verdict to this number, you can sign for the pod. And watching like the smattering of people try to get cell service in there, try to spell verdict, try to understand what the name of the podcast was. It was very funny to see.
And I think we may have gotten a few bingos. We kind of had, and I kind of want to know what are going to be some of the talking points. I think we were fairly, accurate in our.
We may have blacked out the bingo card.
Yeah, it was pretty immediate too.
Yeah, they went on a run there. There was like a 5-minute run where we knocked out a lot of conservative talking points pretty quickly.
Yeah, so cool. So we got our bingo blackout within 10 minutes, and then we just enjoyed the show from there. Kind of afterwards, people were happy. I think some people were surprised just how many people there were. Like,
yeah, it was like you said, standing room only, and then there was kind of like that like spill out section in the back where they had fans going, which I should have been back there shooting from the back. Again, it's literally a big white barn, and it feels like you're inside of a big white barn.
Right.
So
that was cool. I think one thing that I found interesting is right after the 2020 election is, I think, kind of when that Wise County conservatives group really kind of started taking off. And they had kind of their first big meeting there. And it was kind of a similar situation. They even passed around an offering plate to get things moving off the ground. It was felt kind of churchy in there. And now we're here with Ted Cruz in the building. And I think that the tone of that first event, 4 years ago was, it's interesting because it was like right after Trump lost, and they're like, how are we going to take our country back? Do we need to, resort to violence? Do we what can we do?
right.
I'm not saying that that's the overarching theme, but that was just some of the questions that were asked during the event. So it's interesting to see kind of where we started and where we're at now. And I think Annie Hopper's done an impressive job of connecting with this community.
It was overall like a positive experience. It was not like anything. It wasn't like a crazy rally by any sorts.
Mm-mm.
It was just like hey, you should vote for this guy, and this is why I'm throwing him my support. It also got people, engaged on Facebook a little bit. I think everything's been, I don't know, somewhat courteous. You have your classic, the
Cancun jokes.
Yeah. But, always like to see people talk out some politics on Facebook. It's always entertaining.
At the end of the day, it's Greg Abbott, Ted Cruz. I don't know who else to name drop.
Yeah. It's kind of our unofficial messenger policy, right?
It's exciting to see him come by. Wise County's not necessarily on every politician's map, especially, Ted Cruz is probably up there with like one of the most well-known, recognized people in the country.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see him dropping by. I wonder, do you think Ted Cruz hit up like Allsips or anything?
Or like Sefka, or you think he went to like Verona's and got like a sampler afterwards?
I wonder if he went to like the Alvord Burger King.
Or maybe he went to the Gateway Food Truck Park afterwards.
There you go. Shout out to the Gateway Food Truck Park.
Open.
Up and running. But yeah, maybe leave that in the comments. If Ted Cruz comes back, where should he go? And what's on the Ted Cruz bucket list when he comes to Wise County?
You were doing bits when we were there. This is a wild podcast. We're getting into Sinbad territory at this point. So our coworker Micah, who you'll see later in this podcast, he's a big comedy fan, like mid to late 90s comedy fan. And he was telling us about how Sinbad plays guitar and drums. And so that was kind of on our mind going into this political event. So Austin just kept asking people if they liked Sinbad when we were waiting for our shuttle.
I thought it was a fair question. And I think there was a lot of people that did like Sinbad. I like Sinbad.
I think they knew who Sinbad was. I don't know if they liked him.
Well, it's like also like, did you know he played guitar? Like I had no idea. Like Micah told me this. And I was like, there's no way Sinbad is doing a comedy set and then busting out an electric guitar and jamming. But boy, was I wrong.
I wouldn't call it jamming. Like Mike said, he's more of a drummer.
He is more of a drummer. Yeah, he has to look at the strings.
And he doesn't
play guitar.
Doesn't use a pick.
Yeah. But he could carry a tune.
Yeah.
Some riffs.
Yeah.
If he knew the chords ahead of time, he practiced.
Yeah.
I just think he's a very talented man. Sinbad.
Get Sinbad in the big white barn.
Yeah. Can we? Why hasn't Sinbad run for office?
Why isn't Sinbad on the Wise Up podcast right now?
Why? Oh man, I love Sinbad.
All right, enough Sinbad talk.
If you are bored, check out the Sinbad. What's the tour called?
Oh gosh, I can't remember. It was like in 2010 when he did it, right?
I think that's when that was posted on YouTube. I'm not sure if that's the year.
Oh, the 1995. 1995, some Sinbad tour. He plays guitar and drums.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a soul funk fusion tour.
It was like you could just put it on, like leave it on, get a little music, a little comedy, clean comedy too.
That's a big one.
You can enjoy this with the family.
Yep.
too, just like the Wise Up podcast.
Yep.
And because we are a family friendly podcast, and have a good time. I especially have, and I just want to say thank you to Sinbad.
Now that we've gotten our Sinbad out of the way, a real natural pivot
Go ahead and apologize
to yeah, big other breaking
Today.
news. Literally
Today's Friday.
today, yeah, Friday the 26th at noon, Bridgeport
Brendan's
ISD
birthday too.
Bridgeport ISD Board of Trustees, they had a special meeting and they hired a new athletic director and head football coach.
Aaron Cupp.
Aaron Cupp, he came from Bastrop. He was the assistant head coach and OC over there. He's been at a lot of places in Texas, and he was in Oregon and Washington State at a couple of different points in his coaching career, and a 4-year letterman at BYU. Played running back, helped win the Liberty Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, caught touchdown passes from Sark.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know.
I'm excited to meet him.
And he's bringing his family with him, and like he said at the score meeting, he's looking to lay some roots down in Bridgeport and Wise County, and super nice guy. And I think just what I know from him now, just looking at resume and chatting with him a little bit, I think it's the athletic program is going in a good direction. I think this was a really, really solid hire.
Yeah, it seems like there's kind of either in the press release and just kind of from what I've heard about him, it seems like character is a big focus of his. And, I think that's such a big thing for, a Bridgeport football or athletic program is just, building the right way and getting kids excited to play and, getting that involvement there and having a coach or an AD that seems to care about them and wants what's best for them as a human, not just an athlete. So that's kind of what I picked up from some of the comments. And, I think the main thing I was interested at, we looked up the BYU profile. Dude had a huge neck in college. Looks like he still has the neck today.
Oh, he's a football guy for sure, through and through. Just a classic, good old ball coach.
Really cool haircut too back then.
Yeah, super trendy. He was up with it. Yep.
Yeah, kind of had like if Leonardo DiCaprio back in the 90s had been taking fitness very seriously.
Yes. Yeah. If Leonardo DiCaprio played college football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And was like a running back, but like a gritty one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So shout out Aaron Cupp. We're excited to see you. Excited to join the Wise County football fold.
He also has, he coached some state qualifiers in track and was a wrestling coach as well.
Too.
Which obviously, both of those sports, like clear transitions into the football field, speed for track and leverage and
I think
wrestling.
He was quite the wrestler in high school too.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's another if you want to, when I covered high school sports in Oklahoma, the wrestlers were like a different animal. Like super dedicated and crazy athletic too, and just had to have a certain amount of discipline. So I think it'd be cool to see maybe one day down the road the Bulls wrestling program.
Yeah, when you talk about like commitment to your craft, I think that's kind of that's pretty much the standard. And as far a lot of sacrifice for that.
Cutting weight.
And that's a nightmare just from seeing my friends in high school do that. And those dudes and girls are just top tier, conditioned athletes, run themselves into the ground and enjoy doing it. So
yeah, well, I'm excited to see some of the defensive tackles / offensive tackles or guards, maybe who do wrestling and football. That's going to be a monster.
I'm expecting there's probably going to be some, like an undersized D tackle that just has crazy burst off the line and it's just forklifting dudes to get to the quarterback.
Low.
Yeah, 6 inches off the ground. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I'm very excited. So ushering in a new chapter in Bridgeport athletics.
Yeah,
could not be more excited.
Let's go. Also, kind of an interesting week. This is early voting. It's underway. I think what may have captured a lot of people's attention were some mass texts that went out across Decatur ISD.
2 at this point.
Got 2. I think it's Pac, Mike Drury, the GOP chairman, who's currently the outgoing chairman. Pac that was organized, I guess, by him, and I got a few texts little divisive, but we should be getting a report soon on kind of who else is donating to that. Those are always interesting stories just to see kind of who's behind the messages and stuff like that.
I was offended I didn't get a text.
Oh,
I'm a Decatur voter.
Yeah, it's kind of a spotty.
It's like people
coverage
in
area.
Alford and New Fairview are getting them, but I live right off the square and I can't get a text. Like, come on now.
Yeah, and we found it I thought it might be if you're registered for a certain party or anything. No, it was just kind of scatter shooting.
Yeah,
but that's going to be an interesting race on the school board front, and several interesting races across the county. Got a couple bond elections coming down right now to Chico ISD, Boyd ISD, Bridgeport ISD. Got a sales tax election for the Wise County ESD 1. So they're trying to get a little extra funding for their services, and one way is to capture a little extra sales tax. But what else we got? Rome's got a big
17.5 million trying to the evergreen goal of, seems like, cities in Wise County and just towns of less than 10,000 people in Texas, always trying to boost that infrastructure, and especially water infrastructure. It's
old.
It's tough. It's tough to do. So
yeah,
see how that shakes out. I guess it kind of sucks because May 4th, this stuff is over. And then, like we mentioned earlier,
you mean Chase the Chief?
Yes. Okay. May 4th. Sure. Chase the Chief. But May 4th, this election ends. And like you mentioned earlier, then we jump right back into a different kind of election. Those runoffs May 28th. So.
I'm expecting those ads to ramp up big time for the lead up to the runoff.
Helping us out a little bit.
I don't know.
Here.
I hope so. That'd be cool.
Buy an ad.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We want to see all sides, all candidates.
Yep.
Our readers want to see your face when they pick up the West County Messenger.
If you want to get in political hats in the ring, just go ahead and call our office 940-627-5987 and we can hook you up.
This is a good podcast. So in other Bridgeport news,
dinosaurs in Bridgeport? ? Maybe.
Is that true?
So for the last 2 years, Bridgeport Parks and Rec Department and, Chris Easley, their director, has been kind of hitting this up and brainstorming this project of
the park guru in Wise County, in my book.
I think he's been with Bridgeport 17 years, maybe.
Dude just is a park animal.
Knows it all and can get you whatever you need. No, he's been kind of working on trying to bring a Jurassic Journey event to Bridgeport because they have the really cool, Endeavor Bridgeport, the Northwest OHV Park. So there's a company out of Allen that make these life-size animatronic dinosaurs. They're pneumatic, powered by air. Some of them spit water. And so at the Bridgeport City Council meeting on Monday, they kind of workshopped. They didn't take no action, no vote. We don't know if this is a for sure thing or not. Going to take a little bit more time, but trying to get 25 dinosaurs out on a 3-mile trail at the OHV Park.
25.
Have people drive through.
Actual Jurassic Park.
Pretty much any vehicle besides a smart car or a Fiat can drive on that trail is kind of what they said. A school bus can go out there, get some field trips, and the proposed dates, March 6th through April 19th. So right around spring break. So, I was never the type of person to take a big spring break trip growing up. My family always tried to stay local and look for local things to do. And I think a lot of families kind of do that, not necessarily looking to jump on a flight or go on a cruise. And I think that's a huge attraction. They're going to, the plan, if this goes into effect, be open that entire spring break. And so I think I'm excited. I want to see a life-size dinosaur.
Well, how much does it cost? Because I'm considering animatronic dinosaur.
Getting a new mascot for the office, or just for, you did have a yard project. You could put a dinosaur out there.
That'd be really cool. How much was it?
Between $165,000 and $190,000.
So a decision to be made there.
I think, yeah. And so, trying to, lean on sponsorships from obviously Wise County and, maybe metro areas and try to get some
messenger.
Maybe I will probably do a personal sponsorship. yeah, trying to get some schools to commit to field trips and get a better idea if this can happen or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think one of the council members was like, "Hey, if we can somehow make this happen and we can get through the first year, like this could be an annual thing for Bridgeport."
Yeah. I think it could be like promoted big, like have people from all around, not just Wise County.
Yeah.
I went to see like some really cool, like the dinosaurs. You got to watch the video. They're really cool. Like they look legit. They're like, I think they're pretty much hand painted.
Yeah.
Like they have hyper realistic. Some of them shoot water at you.
Yeah. I guess my one thing I have to do to prepare for this better is watch Jurassic Park.
Yeah. He hasn't seen Jurassic Park.
Not a movie guy. I've seen A Star Is Born.
That's good.
Yeah, that's a good movie. That's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, check out Jurassic Park, and you should also check out Jurassic Park. And maybe one day we'll all get to check out a Jurassic Park in Bridgeport.
I think the big thing with this is like it really is kind of like Jurassic Park, because there are other, these life-size moving dinosaurs at zoos and like warehouses and stuff like that, but not really like a drive-through in the wild type beat. So I think that could be pretty cool. Change it up a little bit.
Yep.
Change the dinosaur game.
Yeah. Well, another big dinosaur fan, we're going to kick to him, Mike McCartney, for the Mike Minute.
Hey guys, a lot going on in sports right now. Aaron Cupp hired at Bridgeport as athletic director, head football coach. Congratulations. A lot of kids competing at state track this weekend. Keaton Good and Ellie Ware from Decatur. Decatur girls 4x1 and 4x2. Anna Green and Aisley Bynum from Bridgeport. Haley Jensen from Alvord. Kyrie Woodson from Slidell. Cooper Lookenhouse and Lavaria Pender from Northwest, as well as Northwest girls 4x2. Northwest boys 4x4. Check WCMessenger.com. Those stories will be up after all the races and events. In softball, Decatur girls go to the second round. Good win against Gainesville. Boyd and Paradise get first game wins in their bi-district series. Bridgeport and Chico fall out of the playoffs. Baseball tonight, Boyd versus Paradise round 2. Paradise won the first game. Boyd will be hosting game 2. Alvord versus Bellevue tonight as well. Decatur will host Diamond Hill Jarvis in non-district play. VCA baseball and softball are going to play in the state TCAF championship game, 7 p.m. Both games Monday at Springtown High School. Good luck to them.
Well, thank you, Micah, for that important sports update.
Killing it, like always.
Some little housekeeping stuff. Got some big things coming up this weekend. Big thing. We are Decatur Day.
Yeah, it's a cool little like service project. Got the Leadership Decatur. What is this? A third class of Leadership Decatur. Going out, hitting the streets, doing some community service projects, which is always cool to see.
Yeah, as a former Decatur leadership graduate, hats off to this crew.
You were what, like top 20 in your class?
Yeah, easily. Yeah. So, they kind of, one of the things you do is you kind of brainstorm, what can we do to help out? And they created a day where they're going to do some community service, some cleanup projects, maybe build a wheelchair ramp or two. We'll see. But if you see some folks going out and helping out, give them a salute.
Yep.
Maybe join them.
Yeah, jump right in.
Jump in. If they could use some help.
If they let you.
Yeah.
Don't commandeer their operation.
You don't want too many.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also during chamber this week, it'd be, a big omission if we did not give our full respect to the Guadalupe Bass.
The Texas State Fish, named by Mrs. Shirley Watson's third grade class at Decatur Intermediate School. Was that what it was called at the time?
Yeah.
In 1989.
Yeah.
Third graders, Miss Watson's class.
Went to Decatur ISD. It's a campus with walls.
Yes.
And a roof.
Yep.
But yeah, so they had this class project, and Miss Watson was like, "Hey, what should the Texas Fish be?" And they're like, "How about the Guadalupe Bass?" Then, like a year later, they're in Austin with the governor signing legislation into law to name the Guadalupe Bass Texas State Fish. So, pretty cool story, honestly.
They show at the chamber luncheon, they show video of these third graders speaking. It was funny because, they had the lectern, right? And then they had to put a box at it so the third graders could reach the mic, talking to this environmental affairs committee, right?
Yeah.
In Austin is really cool.
And some folks from Texas Parks and Wildlife are there, kind of. They're instrumental in that too, and just they were mentioning just kind of how that designation has really helped. I think like if you're, say you're a senator or something, and you're like, should we do something for this fish? Oh, it's the Texas state fish,
Right.
Yes,
I
back this.
It really did, boost the economy in Texas, like
Somehow?
in a weird way. I don't know, but also had like some good environmental like after effects, right? Because I think the Guadalupe bass was dying out because it's crossbreeding with smallmouth bass, and after this designation came down, the protections put over it, so now it is flourishing across
the little
waters
fish that could.
Yep, waters in Central Texas. Small fish,
Big impact.
Big impact.
Yeah, so that's cool. So the some of the class members, like probably half that class, was there at the chamber meeting at the Decatur ISD Activity Center. They were there to say some words, shake some hands, kind of reflect on, some of this really kind of interesting, cool part of their life. One of them was like, "Yeah, I have like the coolest, like, what's your cool personal trivia thing?" It's like,
Right.
Oh, I was kind of behind the.
I helped name the state fish. Like that's awesome.
That's so cool. But yeah, anything I'm missing?
Speaking of fish, got our guide to Lake Bridgeport
Oh,
in this week's paper.
yes.
Super cool cover. Got, where to go, what to do, amenities, things to, if you're out on Lake Bridgeport and you need a meal, you want to do some shopping, hit up Halsell Street in Bridgeport. So read all about it in this week's Wise County Messenger.
And the point is, like, say you're living in South Lake, going out for a big trip to Lake Bridgeport. You may not know where to go, what to do, where to fish. But if you pick up our lake guide, all your questions are answered.
$1.
Yeah. And you get the whole newspaper too.
It's a steal. It's a bargain.
Yeah. Best deal in the news business. All right. Thank you guys.
See you next time.